Everybody is someone else's weirdo. Everybody. Do you ever feel to yourself, man, I am so weird. If anybody found out how weird I am, I'd be in trouble. Because, man, I'm so weird. Well, I would like to introduce to you the basket case theory, something I developed when I was a young man to explain what I was witnessing. And it goes like this. If you meet a stranger, could be somebody you want to date or just somebody you work with, maybe just a friend. When you meet them, don't they seem pretty complete? Have their act together pretty well? Man, that stranger. I wish I could be like that stranger because that stranger doesn't have anything weird about them. And they've got their act together and on the inside, pretty confident and pretty capable. And then time goes by and you learn more about your date or your friend or your coworker. And suddenly there's a flaw. Oh, I didn't see that on day one, but there does seem to be a flaw. Maybe a little weirdness. Day 10, looks like there's more than one flaw. 2 years later, well, I guess everybody's fucked up. That's the basket case theory. Everybody looks good until you get to know them. Once you get to know a human being, they're always basket cases. Well, I guess everybody's fucked up. That's the basket case theory. Everybody looks good until you get to know them. Once you get to know a human being, they're always basket cases. Always. Just different kinds of baskets. As soon as you realize that every fucking person is a basket case, you're free. You're free. What is it that bothers you more than anything as long as you're healthy and you have a job? What bothers you more than anything is what people think of you, or what you think they think of you, or what they might think of you, or how they would treat you if you did this embarrassing thing. They're not better than you. Basket case theory. They're not better than you. They're just people you don't know that well. That's it. There's nothing else to the story. You just don't know them that well. If you did, you wouldn't be impressed. Everybody's fucked up. That's the basket case theory. Everybody looks good until you get to know them. Once you get to know a human being, they're always basket cases. Well, I guess everybody's fucked up. That's the basket case theory. Everybody looks good until you get to know them. Once you get to know a human being, they're always basket cases. I'll tell you, one of the most common things that people say to me as a celebrity type, when they get to know me, they say some version of, gosh, you're just like a regular person. Why wouldn't I be? There's nobody who's not a regular person, except maybe Michael Jackson wasn't. If you get famous when you're too young, you can be kind of weird. But even Michael Jackson, was he weirder than me? Probably not. Just different weirdness. Was he weirder than you? Probably not. Just different weirdness. And so there's something connecting this weirdness and self-esteem issue with a massive problem we're having in the country right now. Massive problem. Loneliness. The loneliness problem is now the epidemic. People are so frickin' lonely. Loneliness. The loneliness problem is now the epidemic. People are so frickin' lonely. And it's not entirely because they're not with people. Because they are. They are with people. How many of you are having a crisis of loneliness right now? Tell me how many of you are feeling lonely in a way that you've never felt before. Like just a whole new level of loneliness. Because of loneliness, I think you're also seeing more addiction, right? One way to make the pain go away. How many of you watch this because it makes you feel less lonely? Loneliness. The loneliness problem is now the epidemic. People are so frickin' lonely. Loneliness. The loneliness problem is now the epidemic. People are so frickin' lonely. Now, I'll tell you that, I have people in my house, so I'm not like physically alone. But I've started to watch, I guess what you would call POV or point of view video, in which I want somebody's face looking into the camera and talking to you. I can't watch interviews anymore, because if I watch an interview, I'm watching two people talk to each other, and I'm not part of it. But if I watch one person talking to me, I could probably even watch one of those makeup videos, because it's just somebody putting on their makeup and just talking to you. I would totally watch that. It has nothing to do with the makeup. The loneliness problem is now the epidemic. People are so frickin' lonely. Loneliness. The loneliness problem is now the epidemic. People are so frickin' lonely. I think there's something happening that's bigger than what we understand. Because there's a second epidemic, and I think it's connected. two epidemics that are interacting with each other. So one is the loneliness, and the other is narcissism. I believe narcissism has gone from something that people had and you could stay away from them to something closer to an epidemic. And I think social media has done that. What I've learned about this narcissism thing is I used to think it was people who thought they were great. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. This narcissism thing, it's not about people thinking they're great. It's about people who have broken self-esteem. Just completely broken. And the way that they deal with their broken self-esteem is by belittling other people, one-upping them, bragging, putting them down, shutting them down, thwarting them in any way you can. Now, I used to look at those people because they're everywhere. But man, are there more of them? There are, right? And I think it's because people who might have been sort of on the border of being that way just got pushed over the edge by social media. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. This narcissism thing, it's not about people thinking they're great. It's about people who have broken self-esteem. Just completely broken. Imagine living in a world where everybody is criticizing everybody for everything. That's our world. We live in a world where everybody's criticizing everybody for everything. Imagine that. How would you like to be a teenager and be criticized on everything? The shirt you wore that one day, the embarrassing thing you did just once, but somebody saw it. You're not as pretty or as handsome or as strong or good at sports as this other person. It's gotta be devastating. And there's just more of it. Because it's in your face, you're seeing the impossible images, the people who you want to be like, but you're not, etc. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. This narcissism thing, it's not about people thinking they're great. It's about people who have broken self-esteem. Just completely broken. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. I used to think it was people who thought they were great. This narcissism thing, it's not about people thinking they're great. It's about people who have broken self-esteem. Just completely broken. There's somebody out here watching this right now. You might be watching it live, or somebody might be showing it to you. But I'm kind of talking to you directly. You're feeling super lonely. You might be addicted. And you're trying to figure out a way out. And you're thinking, what the hell do I do? I'm trapped, I'm lonely, and maybe addicted. And I have low self-esteem. And all these people who are doing better than me are beating up on me and they're controlling me. Their opinions are actually just breaking my brain. I can't stop thinking about what they said about me. Is that you? Yeah, that is you. I'm gonna give you at least a few tricks. This will just be a start. It's not gonna fix anybody instantly. But I'll give you a few tricks for escaping them, okay? Some brain hacks, some life hacks. And it goes like this. Number one, always remember the basket case theory. That's trick one. Everybody's broken. Always remember the basket case theory. No complete people. Everybody's broken. They are just completely broken. And you should have pity on them. The person who's talking to you and is insulting you, they're broken. Did you say to yourself, oh my goodness, somebody who's normal is criticizing me? Do you know how many times that's happened? How many times has a person who's got it together and they're normal and they're criticizing you? How many times has that ever happened? Do you think a lot? Because the answer is zero. It's never happened. Nobody who has their act together is criticizing you in cruel ways. But you are getting criticized in cruel ways. You're being judged, not by good people. You're being judged by thoroughly broken people who are acting out. They're taking out their pain on you. If you imagine that they're complete, somehow good people, well, that feels pretty bad. Because you don't want somebody that you respect, or at least think is normal, to be judging you. That feels terrible. They don't exist. They don't exist. That thing that somebody said, it was sad. The words exist, but there's no such thing as an unbroken person saying that kind of stuff. Always remember the basket case theory. That's trick one. Everybody's broken. Always remember the basket case theory. No complete people, just broken people. Always remember the basket case theory. That's trick one. Everybody's broken. They are just completely broken. And you should have pity on them. Just completely broken. And you should have pity on them. And your first thought should be empathy, not feeling bad. So that's your first trick. Remember the basket case theory? Nobody's good. It just doesn't exist. And trust me, the older you get, the more people you meet, the more you'll know this is true. There are no complete people, just broken people. The more broken they are, the more they're going to come after you because they need that. They need to push you down so that they can feel good for today. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. You didn't get your low self-esteem necessarily because you were born with it. I mean, it's got to be a genetic component here. But mostly it comes from narcissists who have their own broken self-esteem, and they want you to have a broken self-esteem, and if you don't have it, they're going to give it to you. You catch it from other people, and you can get rid of it, just like you can get rid of it. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. You do have a constitution. You do have immunity, but it takes a little while, just like any cold. And the cold wins for a while, and then your natural immunity takes over. Your natural immunity can get you away from this low self-esteem that you caught from other people. It's not in you. It's something you caught. And you're going to beat the shit out of it. Just like your immune system will beat the shit out of it. 99% of you plus. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people. Low self-esteem is like a virus. You catch it from other people.
Do you know who Akira the Dawn is?
Of course, he's amazing.
Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Find a few things that you can completely control and control them like that. There's nothing better for your self-esteem than knowing that if you work hard on something, whatever it is, that you can become one of the good ones. Not the best in the world, but better than other people. But better than other people. But better than other people. And the things that you can control the most are diet, fashion choices, haircut, fitness. You can control the fuck out of those things. You can control the fuck out of those things. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Find a few things that you can completely control and control the fuck out of it. If you're not good at fashion, find somebody who is. Get some advice. Don't know how to exercise? Find somebody who can. Have them tell you how. Don't know how to eat right? Find somebody who knows. Have them tell you how. Find some things that you can completely control and control the fuck out of them. Just control the fuck out of them. Because that's where you get your self-esteem. I'm actually a really good example for this. And I'm going to say something astonishingly lacking humility. I'm a person who's good at a lot of things. A lot of things. If you made a list of things that the press has called me and asked for my expert opinion on, you'd be kind of surprised. It's across economics, business, humor, politics, persuasion. But how many things are there that you could be good at? All of the things that humans can do. It's gigantic, right? It's like millions of things that people can do, and I'm good at almost zero. Like, if you took all of my skills and compared it to all the skills that anybody could have in the world, it rounds to zero. It doesn't round even to 1%. And I'm an example of somebody who has pretty high skills in a variety of fields, and it still rounds to zero. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Be good at a few things that you can control. You can control. You can control. Find a few things that you can completely control and control the fuck out of it. I can do well, and that's why I concentrate on fitness and diet. And you know, in the case of a guy, if you get your fitness and diet right, you're probably pretty good. So control the things you can control, get good at them, and remember that nobody's good at much. Here's some more. Use your despair to find freedom. Use your despair to find freedom. Use your sadness, loneliness, depression, and despair to buy your freedom. Do you know how to do that? And by the way, freedom feels really good. Here's how. Do you remember that day you were lonely and sad and neurotic and anxious and depressed and every other bad feeling in the world? And if only you could talk to that guy or that girl, the person of your affection. If you feel like you're gonna die anyway, just do it. You're free. Go up to that person that you think is gonna turn you down. And guess what? They probably will. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Everybody's failing all over the world all the time. Go up to that person and say to yourself, before you walk up, my whole life is garbage right now. I'm sad. I'm lonely. I'm neurotic. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's shake the box. Let's just see what happens. Leave your box, walk directly up to that person that is way better than you in your broken mind. They're not way better than you, but you think they are. And say, you know, I just wondered if you'd like to go out to dinner with me. I think it'd be fun. Use your despair to find freedom. Use your despair to find freedom. Use your sadness, loneliness, depression, and despair to buy your freedom. To buy your freedom. Tell you a story that happened just like that. I'm gonna divert a little bit. Years ago when I was single, I lived in San Francisco, had no social life whatsoever, no game. It was before online dating. I mean, meeting somebody was really, really hard pre-internet. And I joined a group called the Spinsters. Well, I didn't join them. I went to an event that they had. Spinsters were young women who were single, and they had an ironic name. And they would have these big parties, and they would invite men. And it was just basically a way to meet people. So I went to one of these events with my friend, Josh. And we walked in and we looked around and we said to ourselves, not exactly the most attractive room. I don't want to be unkind, but it wasn't exactly what we were hoping for, with one exception. Across the room, there was one unusually attractive woman, and she sort of stood out as the most attractive woman in the entire place. And so I said to my friend, well, this is a disaster. We wasted our night. I'm just going to go over to the most attractive woman in the room. I'll flame out in about a second and a half, and then we'll be done. And then we just go home. So I walked directly up to the most attractive woman in the room, and she was my girlfriend for 11 months. Use your despair to find freedom. Use your despair to find freedom. Use your sadness, loneliness, depression, and despair to buy your freedom. To buy your freedom. If you had asked me what were my odds, I would have said pretty close to zero. Pretty close to zero. And it turns out that other people were intimidated and didn't talk to her. Now, why was I able to walk up to someone that I could normally not walk up to? It's because I'd given up. I had absolutely given up. There was nothing for me here. I just said, well, doesn't matter. I don't know her. If she turns me down, nothing lost. The moment you realize that your despair is your freedom, you're free. Have you heard the phrase, freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose? You've heard that, right? Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. How about that college class you were going to sign up for? How about that sport you wanted to get involved in? How about that motorcycle you wanted? Too dangerous, right? You're free. You're free. Every one of you who is depressed and anxious, you're free. You're free. Because nothing you do will be worse than the way you feel right now. Do something. Do something dangerous. Psychologically dangerous. Take a chance. Put yourself out there. Flame out. Get killed. Just get smashed. Just go do it. You're free. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You're free. Do something. Do something. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You're free. Do something. Do something. If you want to meet people, here's the best way to do it. You have to join activities. There is no other way to meet people and form lasting friendships. Hear this clearly. There's no other way to do it. You have to join an activity, a club, a sport, a gym, an organization, a political movement. Nothing else. All right? You can't just make a friend. Like, good luck. You could try, but I don't think I've ever seen it work. Hi, Bob, hearing good things about you. I think we could be friends. Doesn't work. Do something. Do something. Join a thing. Make a sport. Form a club of your own. Just go do it. You're free. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You're free. Do something. Do something. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You're free. Do something. Do something. Why would you not form a club of your own? Because you're afraid nobody would come, right? What's the difference? You're as good as dead. You're depressed, you're anxious, you hate your life. You're thinking about putting I can't say that here, but you're thinking about maybe life isn't worth it. You're free. You're absolutely free. Go have some fun. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You're free. Do something. Do something. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. You're free. Do something. Do something. Now, I gotta tell you, I've used this technique a number of times, and man, does it work. It really works. You're free. Just remember that people criticizing you are narcissists. They are broken. Don't let it break you. You've got some techniques now, and I think you're gonna be a lot better. Go get yourself some friends, and you'll find your mental health problems feel a lot better. Go get involved in something. Join a group. Form a group. Be the boss. That is your advice for the day, and I will talk to you.
Yeah, so you could do that. You could put Akira the Dawn. You ever heard Akira the Dawn?
Akira the Dawn, yes.
Yeah. Because you could just listen to Akira the Dawn tracks.
Sure.
8-minute tracks.
Yeah.
What's it? Music in the background.
Yes,
but then
sir,
just
it
me
is.
talking.
Yes.
Is that weird?
No.
People
no,
dig it.
Yeah, I dig it.
I dig it.
I like music in the back of talking. I like that whole thing.
Yeah, well, that's what the good video is, and people love that.
Akira.
He's got clout.
How do I deal with setbacks, failures, delays, defeat, or other disasters?
I actually have a fairly simple way of dealing with these situations. It is actually one word to deal with all those situations. And that is good. And this is actually something that one of my guys that worked for me pointed out to me. He would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that, the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. One day he was telling me about some issue that he was having. He said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. 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 You're going to say good. You're going to say good. You're going to say good. Good. And that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say, good. Good. And I said, well, yeah. And I mean it. And that is how I feel. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. We can keep it simple. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Didn't get funded? Good. We own more of the company. Didn't get the job you wanted? Good. You can get more experience and build a better resume. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. Got injured. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Good. Needed a break from training. Got tapped out. Good. It's better to tap in training than to tap out on the street. Got beat. Good. You learned. Unexpected problems. Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. No. You just look at the issue and you say, good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. I don't mean to say something that's all cliche. I don't mean to sound like Mr. Positive. Find the positive. But do that. Do that. Focus on the good. Focus on the good. Take that issue, take that problem. Take that issue, take that problem, and make it something good. Make it something good. And bring that attitude to your team. You go forward. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. Good. You're gonna say good. You're gonna say good. 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 You're gonna say good. close this out. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, go out on the attack. And that right there is about as good as it gets.
Is a very complexly interrelated organism. And if you look at the body in a superficial way, you may see there's something wrong with it. Here's chickenpox. And there's spots that itch. You might say, well, spots are there, cut them off. So you kill the bug. Well, then you find you've got a real problem. Because you have to introduce some bugs to kill the bug. It's like bringing rabbits into Australia. And that starts going all over the place and getting out of this. But then you think, well, now wait a minute. It wasn't the bugs in the blood. There are bugs all over the place. What was wrong with this person? That his blood system suddenly became vulnerable to those particular bugs. His resistance wasn't up. Therefore, what you should have given was not an antibiotic, but vitamins. Okay, so we're going to build up his resistance. But resistance to what? You may build up resistance to this and this and this class of bugs, but then there's another one that loves that situation. It comes right in. The way the world actually is an enormously complex, interrelated organism. The way the world actually is an enormously complex, interrelated organism. See, we always look at the human being medically in bits and pieces. Because we have heart specialists, lung specialists, bone specialists, nerve specialists, and so on. And so on. And they each see the human being from their point of view. There are a few generalists, but they realize the human body is so complicated that no one mind can understand it. And furthermore, supposing we do succeed in healing all these people of their diseases, what do we then do about the population problem? I mean, we've stopped cholera, the black bubonic plague, we're getting the better of tuberculosis, we may fix cancer and heart disease. Then what will people die of? Well, let us go on living. With the enormous quantities of it. Then we have to fix this birth thing. Pills for everybody. Then we find what are the effects, the side effects of those pills? What are the psychological effects upon men and women of not breeding children in the usual way? We don't know. 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 The way the world actually is an enormously complex, interrelated organism. The way the world
Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you, that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Wherefore, if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow is cast into the oven, shall he not much more clothe you? O ye of little faith. 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 Shall he not much more clothe you? Therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? Those are famous lines. That's sort of Christ the hippie, right? It's like, hey, let it all hang out, do your thing, and everything will come to you. But that's seriously not the proper interpretation, because there's a kicker with this. And the kicker is this: for your heavenly Father knows you have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. O ye of little faith. Interesting idea here. It's certainly one of the most profound ideas that I've ever encountered. If you configure your life so that what you are genuinely doing is aiming at the highest possible good, then the things that you need to survive and to thrive on a day-to-day basis will deliver themselves to you. If you dare to do the most difficult thing that you can conceptualize, your life will work out better than it will if you do anything else. Well, how are you going to find out if that's true? There's no way you're going to find out whether or not that's true unless you do it. You have to be all in this game. All in this game. All in this game. All in this game. O ye of little faith. O ye of little faith. O ye of little faith. O ye of little faith.
All right, at long last, the user interface for reality. Some of these things you're going to say, hey, I've heard about those. First, First, you must accept the frame, at least as a filter, that there could be a subjective reality and that you can manipulate it. You should accept that systems work better than goals. People are telling me every day that they implemented systems and it changed their life. This is one of the biggest buttons on the interface for life. If you don't like where you are and you want to go somewhere else, learn how to build systems for everything from your diet to your career to your social life, fitness, everything. Talent stacking. The idea that if you intelligently add new talents, you become not just a little bit better, but exponentially better, because talents really explode your capability and your options. So this is one of the biggest buttons on the interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. Affirmations, the idea of writing down or visualizing your goals, seems to be something that gives you the impression that it works. And I say that very carefully. Does it work? Do affirmations change reality? I don't know. I can tell you that when I've used them, the results I've gotten don't seem like anything could have been natural. I cured an incurable voice problem. I had ridiculous stock market luck when I used the affirmations. My career, as I told you, is just crazy. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works, but I'm not going to tell you it does. You should see these as filters. If it feels like it works, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. If it feels like it works, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. The interface to reality. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. It feels like it works. The interface to reality. It feels like it works, but I'm not going to tell you it does. You should see these as filters.
People is they go into a daunting task, and the task is overwhelming.
Akira.
And I heard the pull-up record was 4,020 pull-ups, and I was talking about breaking this record. People are like, oh my God. I went right to a pen and paper. Like, what are you doing? I'm doing the math, man. I'm doing the math, man. What are you talking about? I'm doing the math, man. I'm open-minded to the fact that, okay, if I do 5 pull-ups in a minute for so many hours, I can get so many pull-ups in. How much time do I have to rest? I was breaking the math down. You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So that's why my eyes and my body light up about things, because I know that if you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. Whatever the fuck is in front of him. whatever the fuck is in front of you. Whatever the fuck is in front of you. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of you. That's what I realized. I was never breaking the soul of anything in front of me. So that's why I came with this thing called taking souls. I started to devise ways to break a soul of a human being, of the object, of whatever's in front of me. If you keep on attacking something, nothing wants to stand in front of anything that is relentless. Nothing. That's when a lot of stuff started clicking, man. I started watching those instructors on the side. They've been there, done that. Now they're instructing you. They have their parkas on, it's usually cold, coffee, drinking their coffee, and they're beating the crap out of us. And when I started realizing, I started playing mind games. I was like, you know what? I bet these fuckers are looking at us, judging themselves about when they were going through Hell Week. About looking at Goggins right now. I was better than him. I was better than that guy. I was better than that fucker over there. And I was like, okay. So what I started doing was I got my boat crew. It's Wednesday and everybody's broken, everybody's beat up, man, and everybody's like just kind of just trying to get through Hell Week now. And they tell you how you're supposed to feel. So you are feeling that way. I was like, don't let these motherfuckers tell you how you're supposed to feel. No, it's day one, motherfucker. This is hour one. So I was getting my boat crew all jacked up. I said, we're gonna take these motherfuckers' souls. So they had us doing this simple thing that guys are struggling with. Bro Crew 2 was just lost in the fucking boat and you're yelling, yeah, you can't fucking hurt us. Can't hurt Bro Crew 2. And I looked on the instructors' faces and it looked like someone had just fucked with their soul. And I looked at my guys in the boat crew and I said, hey, guess what? Those motherfuckers aren't fucking tonight. We own space in their fucking head. We own space. They're gonna think about us tonight. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. 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 The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. And we start fueling off of that. We start fueling off the fact that, man, it takes 1 second of energy to steal everybody's. And then you have all the energy you need. That's all you need. You need to look at someone's eyes. You know how it is when you fight somebody and you broke that motherfucker. He's like, oh God, man, I don't want to go back to the next round. And you feel like, my God, I can fight all day. That's what taking souls is. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you're exactly jacked up. You have nothing left to give. And give more. You know how you get that fight or flight response? When you get to move real quick? I started learning the mind a lot, how to get myself jacked extremely fast in a horrible environment when everybody's miserable. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. This is where I shine. And I started using all that misery for tons of drive and motivation to then lead people further. Because you can get a lot of power through misery. And once people see that, my God, Goggins is fucking going, then everybody says, roger that. I started realizing that if you can just find strength just a little bit longer, you will have a crew of people following you along the way. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of him. Whatever the fuck is in front of you. Whatever the fuck is in front of you. Whatever the fuck is in front of you. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. He must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of you. You have to take great pleasure in the fact that no one wants to be where the fuck you're at right now. Great pleasure, man. It has to bring a passion out of you. It has to bring something very, very weird out of you, man. Like, you know, people don't really understand what that is. When you're in the worst environment possible, the worst situation possible, and everybody's looking like, God, man, I hope this ends. And you see that. Time slows down and you see that. You're feeling that. Everybody has that look on their face like, God, this gotta go. I don't want to be anymore. This is where I shine. This is where I shine.
Akira.
I should make it clear, I don't believe this stuff. I find believing in these high-flown, complicated synthetic systems to come off sort of like pathology. So I entertain ideas, but I don't give belief over. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. Meme spreader. A meme replicator. Naturally, this question arose in our group. Why us? Why us? Why are the aliens revealing the unified field theory of space and time to us? And the mushroom just replied without hesitation. Because you don't believe in anything. And that apparently is what's required. Do you all know that Van Morrison song about no guru, no method, no teacher, just you and me and nature in the garden? I think that's actually where it's at. So what I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. Meme spreader. A meme replicator. A meme is a terrible thing to waste. A meme is a terrible thing to waste. A meme is a terrible thing to waste. And the purpose of these teaching things is to turn you into fellow replicators of the meme. Of the meme. You should go forth and tell other people, go forth and tell other people, and copy it into their head, copy it into their head, copy it into their head, and this meme will spread. So what I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. Meme spreader. A meme replicator. Because we cannot evolve faster than our language. The edge of being is the edge of meaning. And somehow we have to push the edge of meaning. We have to extend it. Because if we appear to be confronted by insoluble problems, it's because we have the wrong language for dealing with this problem. You learn that with computers. Certain languages are good for certain kinds of problems. We have to constantly evolve language and push it forward. So what I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. What I do, I'm a meme spreader. Meme spreader. A meme replicator.
Akira.
He's got clout. You got to be oriented towards something, because otherwise you're disoriented. You just spin around in circles, and then you suffer, and so do people around you. It's not a good solution. orient yourself towards something, you have to figure out what it is. What will work for you? What goal would justify the suffering of your life? Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. Start trying to piece that together. You're going to get better at it. But it's a personal process, so you need a personal place to stand, because otherwise you're going to be handed a place to stand on a plate. And it may be one that makes you a puppet of someone else's goals. So I would say, what are the processes? Well, I think what I've recommended to people is clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. See if you can stop saying things you know to be lies. That's not the same as telling the truth. You don't get to do that to begin with because you're not good enough at it to even attempt it in some sense. But everyone can stop saying things they know to be falsehoods. Stop saying things that violate your conscience. Here's another idea. Stop saying and doing things that make you feel weak. All you have to do is pay attention to that. Some things you do will make you feel disintegrated. It's a physiological sensation. Some things improve your integrity and some things disintegrate you. The things that disintegrate you, you often do to impress other people. You're escaping what you know to be your moral obligation, and your moral obligation stems naturally from your aims. And if you don't have an aim, well then, you're aimless. Clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. I had a girl come up to me last night. She said, I started cleaning up my room and it completely changed my life. She said, your room is an externalization of your mind. And that's right. That's exactly true. To the degree that you're in your room, the room is you. So straighten up what you can straighten up and quit saying things that make you feel weak. And then you'll know what to do next. Clean up your room. 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 Then you'll know what to do next. It's like, hey, man, you have a room. Most people throughout human history have not had a room. You have a room. Well, my room's a hellhole. It's like, well, then you're a denizen of hell inhabiting it. You should do something about that. Well, what? Well, put it in minimal order. Get your clothes together, because you have to wear those. People are looking at your clothes. What clothes should you be wearing? Not the clothes of a total wretched loser. How about that? What about your bed? Well, is it comfortable? Do you make it in the morning so it looks like half civilized? Can you sleep there? It's like, is there junk everywhere so you just hate your life when you walk into your room? It's like, clean the damn thing up. See if you can do it. Order your drawers. Learn to fold your clothes. Put it in minimal order. And then, man, you could get spectacular. You said, put a plant in there. It's like, maybe I could make it beautiful.
He's got clout.
When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. Not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. Not of the same blood or birth, but the same mind, and possessing a share of the divine. So none of them can hurt me. No one can implicate me in ugliness, nor can I feel angry at my relative or hate him. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of teeth, upper and lower. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on him, these are obstructions. Yo, disguise your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Whatever this is that I am, it is flesh, a little spirit, and intelligence. Throw away your books. Stop letting yourself be distracted. That is not allowed. Instead, as if you were dying right now, despise your flesh, a mess of blood, pieces of bone, a woven tangle of nerves, veins, arteries. Consider what the spirit is, air, and never the same air, but vomited out and gulped in again every instant. Finally, the intelligence. Think of it this way, you are an old man. Stop allowing your mind to be a slave, to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against fate and the present, to mistrust the future. What is divine is full of providence. Even chance is not divorced from nature, from the inweaving and infolding of things governed by providence. Everything proceeds from it. And then there is necessity and the needs of the whole world, of which you are a part. Whatever the nature of the whole does and whatever serves to maintain it is good for every part of nature. The world is maintained by change in the elements and in the things they compose. That should be enough for you. Treat it as an axiom. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. From the bottom of your heart, discard your thirst for books so you won't die in bitterness, but in cheerfulness and truth. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Grateful to the gods from the bottom of your heart. Remember how long you've been putting this off? How many extensions the gods gave you and you didn't use them? At some point you have to recognize what world it is that you belong to, what power rules it, and from what source you spring. That there's a limit to the time assigned to you, and if you don't use it to free yourself, it will be gone and will never return.
Akira. He's got clout.
This is a tough weekend for me, my friend. Cause I go home. I don't know why. It doesn't bother me, but it does bother me. Gotta go to the cemetery. Gotta drive around the neighborhood. Gonna see all my old haunts. You realize how old you are. You know, you realize life moved on. All you have is your fucking memories, you know. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. When I drive on 76th Street and I'm parked in that light, I'm gonna make a left at the Lex light on 77th to go to Luke's house. And I look over my right shoulder, I don't see Ashways there. It just does something to me, you know? It just fucking does something to me. I don't break down. I don't need to go to a therapist, but it kicks you in the stomach. It kicks your youth in the stomach. Kicks who you were as a child in the stomach. I didn't know anything as a kid. I just always thought Ashways would be there. See what I'm saying? We all have our own Ashways. We all have memories of that fucking childhood deli or pizza place or Chinese place or whatever the fuck that you were in there and you tortured the people and they gave you credit and one day you swallowed a fucking roach in there by mistake and they didn't tell nobody. They gave you free food for the rest of your life. I'll say that name for the rest of my life. Ashways, you know. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. But tomorrow I get to go home and I'll drive by at night and I just shake my head. You know, I always go down by my mother's bar and make a left on Bergen Line Avenue and I see what that's like now. And that's completely different. Then I hook a left on New York Avenue and I shoot all the way up to like fucking 48th and I cut all the way to fucking Hudson Avenue. And I go all the way to 60th and I make a fucking left down to Kelly Boulevard and I hit Veneris. And I see what it looks like at night. Then I make a fucking right up. I got the same route every time, dog. Because that's the route I had as a child. I don't know. And that's it. I don't get out. I don't breathe the air. I just take that one ride to see what happened. Just kick me in the stomach. Just to shoot whatever dreams I had down. And I was like, I have to go back to Jersey. It's gonna be the same, you know. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. I went down there when I was with my daughter last year. I took her down there and I walked around with them. I took them to the fucking park I played at. I had a great time with them. I didn't break down physically or mentally enough, and I thought I would, Lee. See, right now, sometimes I think, oh my God, this is gonna be hard on me. It ain't shit. It ain't shit. I breeze right fucking through it. You know, I thought when I would walk into the high school a few years ago, I would have a nervous breakdown. None of that shit happened. None of that shit happened. I don't know how I dealt with it, Lee. Over the years, doing all that coke and sitting there alone like a fucking loser and writing about my past, all that shit fucking cleared the air in my mind. I don't know how. I don't know how. When I walk on the streets a little bit sometimes, I go, wow, I remember walking on the street after I did this, or I remember walking on the street after I did that. 30 years ago, I was getting chased in that fucking parking lot. Chased. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than anything in the fucking world. All I have is stupid memories. I cherish them more than I pull up to my house, you know, I look at the baby, I look at my wife, and I go, what the fuck happened?
Akira. He's got clout.
You know the old question. If a tree crashes in a forest and there is nobody around to hear it, is there a noise? This question has been discussed in many futile ways. But noise, basically, is a state of affairs that requires an eardrum and an audio nervous system behind the eardrum. When the tree falls, it makes the air vibrate. If there is anywhere around an ear with the appropriate nervous system, there will be a noise. Because noise is a relationship between motion in the air and ears. If there is not any ear around, there won't be any noise, although there will be vibration in the air. And if there is some instrument around, such as a microphone attached to a tape recorder, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. In the same way, let's suppose the sun sends out light into space. Now, the space surrounding the sun will be black darkness, as if there were no light in it, unless a planet happens to float by. When a planet floats by, there will be light. In the darkness. But if there isn't anything to relate to the sun in that way, then comes no light. Now this goes right down to the root and ground of everything. It goes down to the essence of your nerves, your whole being. That it's all an interdependence. There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. And that's why one of the basic symbols of the universe is the Chinese yin-yang symbol, which you know is a circle with an S curve in the center. One side of the S is black, the other is white. So it makes, as it were, two commas or two fishes. And the eye of the fish is the opposite color. The white fish has a black eye, the black fish has a white eye, curling in on each other. Now this thing is called a helix. And that is the fundamental form of the galaxies, the great nebulae we see out in space. And this is basically, too, the position of sexual intercourse. This is lovemaking. And this is, you know, when you hold hands and so on. This is it. This is it. There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness,
There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness, but there are two involved, and the two are secretly one.
It's this fear of discomfort. People have this extreme feeling in their mind when it comes to their associations with exercise. They want to avoid discomfort. They feel like any type of exercise is just like something to be avoided. That's not for me. Fuck that. I don't want to sweat. I don't want to strain. I don't want to sweat. I don't want to strain. A lot of times this association that they have is about the beginnings of getting in shape. It's not about once you're actually fit. Because once you're actually fit and you look forward to it, it feels great. If I can't get a workout in, I look at my schedule and go, oh shit, I don't have any time for a workout, which means I'm not going to get that good feeling, get that good feeling. And so instead of looking at it like, oh, I've got to go grunt and sweat, I'm thinking I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to feel relaxed. I'm not going to feel carefree, even appreciative. Like my appreciation of things, it gets enhanced greatly after exercise. I just feel better. I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain. Get that good feeling, get that good feeling, get that good feeling. I want to sweat, I want to strain, 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 I want to sweat, I want to strain. Get that good feeling, get that good feeling, get that good feeling. It feels great. Most people, their associations are to avoid anything that's uncomfortable. It's so illogical. Discomfort is your friend. It really is. Discomfort, not being happy and content with certain situations in life, they're massive, massive motivators. They're amazing at facilitating change. Yet our instinct is to avoid those and just sit on the couch and watch some fucking reality show. It's bizarre. When I get really disciplined and really consistent with my workouts, I almost feel momentum. I feel like there's push behind me, like, all right, yeah, now I'm doing sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain. Get that good feeling, get that good feeling, get that good feeling. I want to sweat, I want to strain, 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 I want to sweat, I want to strain. Get that good feeling, get that good feeling, get that good feeling. Yeah, now I'm doing it. Yeah, now I'm doing it. I'm doing it all the time now. I'm looking forward to the next time, and it makes that resistance much weaker, and it makes my motivation and my discipline much stronger. I think a lot of it is based on just the consistency. Blowing something off is not just bad for you physically, it's also bad mentally, because then that option is now available. The option to fuck off. You did it before, and you're probably going to do it again, and you'll get mediocre results, not just in that aspect of your life, maybe in all aspects of your life. That option to fuck off, when you embrace it, that is a pathway that you might choose when it comes to dealing with conflict in your personal life, business decisions, career decisions, like an uncomfortable decision that you might be faced with, what your pathway is in life, but you don't do it. Instead, you fuck off. And that inclination to fuck off, that gathers momentum as well. The inclination to be disciplined, that comes with momentum. I think both things. You take a path. I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain, I want to sweat, I want to strain. Get that good feeling, get that good feeling, get that good feeling. I want to sweat, I want to strain, 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 I want to sweat, I want to strain. Get that good feeling, get that good feeling, get that good feeling. It feels great. or the path of the fuck off, your body is like a race car that you can juice up yourself. Like you can add the fat tires, you can add improved suspension, you can beef up the horsepower of the engine. You can do all that yourself. Or you could just choose to have this shitty body. No one's under the illusion that you're going to live forever, but you are enhancing the experience that you're currently involved in right now. If you are alive, you do experience this life, but do you experience this life optimally? Is it as enjoyable as it can be? And we all know that there's a spectrum for that enjoyability. Like we've all had times in our life where it's not been so great, and then times in our life everything came together like, what a fucking great day, woo! Great day, woo! Great day, woo! Great day, woo! Make more of those. Make more of those. Make more of those. Like you can make more of those. And then the whole thing's better. And then the whole thing's better. And I think when that whole thing is better, it affects everybody you touch, everybody that's around you, everybody you come in contact with. That in turn, I mean, it sounds so grandiose, but in turn can affect the entire race of human beings.
If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. This is a time of great danger. But our species is young and curious and brave. It shows much promise. In the last few millennia, we have made the most astonishing and unexpected discoveries about the cosmos and our place within it. I believe our future depends powerfully on how well we understand this cosmos in which we float like a mote of dust in the morning sky. To make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. The surface of the earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. On this shore, we've learned most of what we know. Recently, we've waded a little way out, maybe ankle deep, and the water seems inviting. Some part of our being knows this is where we came from. We long to return, and we can. Because the cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. Elegant truths
into relationships of the awesome machinery of nature. The cosmos is full beyond measure. Elegant truths of exquisite interrelationships of the awesome machinery of nature.
Now, the third function of a mythological tradition is to validate and maintain a certain moral order. Now, these moral orders greatly differ from one society to another. For example, the requirements of a primitive hunting community are very, very different from the primitive planting community. What is required of the young men and women is in each case quite different. Likewise, in a complex society of differentiated tasks with professional doctors, medical men, astronomers, scientists, governing people, trading people, all of these coordinated in one society, we have a quite different social problem, quite different moral problem from that of a simple primitive community. The individual must be shaped. He must be made to react in the way that culture wants. The individual must be shaped. He must be made to react in the way that culture wants. And so there is this variation from society to society in terms of the social orders. Now, some of these social orders are extremely ruthless and fierce in their requirements and extremely narrow in their demands. Individuals may be thus divorced, separated, so to say, from their own nature. Read some of the descriptions in the anthropological works of the primitive initiation rites. What is done to the young people in some primitive societies in order to test their courage, in order to integrate them in the social group. Now, most societies are extremely dogmatic and fierce in their integration of the individual. The individual is born as a separate entity. He is carved up, so to say, and made to fit into a pattern that the society requires. It doesn't require a total man. It requires a part man. Not an individual, but a dividual. Someone who has been divided up and put into a knot. The individual must be shaped. He must be made to react in the way that culture wants. The individual must be shaped. He must be made to react in the way that culture wants. This happens in the most primitive societies already. Nature produces this wonderfully rich being, full of possibilities. The society, and you cannot blame society, it requires a certain specific limited type. It's got to have that, otherwise it can't exist. And so the individual is, so to say, carved in shape, scarified, his teeth knocked out, his body is changed, so that he'll know, I'm a member of this group, not that group. The individual must be shaped. He must be made to react in the way that culture wants. The individual must be shaped. He must be made to react in the way that culture wants. The individual must be shaped. In so shaping the person is removed, so to say, from his own nature. From his own nature. From his own nature.
Every social animal, and even many animals who aren't social, are embedded in a dominance hierarchy.
Okay, let's go.
The dominance hierarchy has a structure. We couldn't call it a dominance hierarchy. Dominance hierarchy A, B, C, thousands of them across thousands of years. What's central to all of them? That's the pyramid of value. What question do you need answered about the pyramid of value? What's at the top? Because that's the ideal. That's the eye at the top of the pyramid. The golden Buddha in the lotus. It's the same thing. The same thing as the crucifix. And that has to do with something like the voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. 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 The voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. These are not arbitrary ideas. They're deeply rooted in biology and culture. They're as deeply rooted in biology as the dominance hierarchy is rooted in biology. And we already know the answer to that. The dominance hierarchy has been around for 350 million years. It's a long time. You don't get to just brush that off and say, well, morality is some sort of second-order cognitive problem. It's like, no, it's not. You have a counter at the bottom of your brain that keeps track of where you are in terms of your status, and it bloody well regulates the sensitivity of your emotions. So if you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, barely clinging on to the world, everything overwhelms you, and that's because you're damn near dead. And so everything should overwhelm you. You've got no extra resources. You're sunk. And if you're nearer the top, then your serotonin levels go up. You're less sensitive to negative emotion. You're less impulsive. You live longer. Everything works in your favor. Your immune system functions better, and you're oriented at least to some degree towards the medium and long-term future. And you can afford that because all hell isn't breaking loose around you all the time. And so then the question is there a way of being that increases the probability that you're going to move up dominance hierarchies? Well, that doesn't seem to be a particularly provocative proposition. The same thing as the crucifix. And that has to do with something like the voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. 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 The voluntary acceptance and therefore transcendence of suffering. Okay, so back to Jung. See, Jung believed that once we had stopped populating the cosmos with gods, that they went inside. Think about it this way. Archaic person looks at the sky, uses his imagination to populate the sky. What's the sky? Well, it's the constellations. It's the domain of the gods. Well, why? Because the gods are what are out there beyond your understanding. Well, that's what you see when you look up at the sky. So you populate the night sky with figures of your imagination. So the gods are the things that you broadcast out of your imagination and see spread over the world. It's like the contents of your unconscious are manifesting themselves when you encounter the unknown. It's exactly what it is. How else could it be? You're projecting your fantasy onto what you don't understand. That's how you start to cope with what you don't understand. You populate the unknown with deities. Where did they come from? They happens when you take them out of the world? Do they disappear? No, they just go back into your imagination. That's the same motif as rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. Rescuing your dead father from the belly of the whale. Belly of the whale. It's the same idea. Is that the corpses of the gods inhabit your imagination.